Hello, everyone, and welcome to another incredible episode of Empowered Conversations. Today, I'm so excited to bring on my guest, Ashley Dangerfield. She is a real estate broker in Charleston, South Carolina, and owns her own successful real estate company called Charleston Home Team. She is also a 48-year-old mother of two young adults, 23 and 25 years old. She met the love of her life 3 months ago. He is a wedding and landscape photographer. She is a very outgoing and outspoken, love that, and the alpha most of the time, but due to her empathic nature, can and will retreat into being a quiet introvert at times when she needs alone and quiet time. She is a caretaker and always one of the first to jump in and help someone out. Doesn't know a stranger and literally just jumped right in to start her podcast, Pardon My Sarcasm. Boy, am I excited to hear all about this. And they just recorded their 12th they're recording their 12th episode tomorrow. I'm on it this week, and boy, am I excited. Her goal is to be a traveling gypsy podcaster, be a guest host on other podcasts, create a few more shows in the future, and see where all this takes her and her life. She has a real passion for making the world a better place and creating joy in other people's lives. And let me tell you guys, is that not the epitome of who is the perfect guest on my Empowered Conversations podcast? All right, guys, everybody help me in welcoming, drum roll, woo, Ashley Dangerfield.
Hello.
Hey girl, how are you? Yes,
I'm
now I'm going to add you to Instagram. All right,
Okay.
so we are going to, right here, I'm going to say, invite to join Ashley, ASHL. Let's see, where are you? There you are. It's me, Ashley. Send request.
Nice.
So you will see it pop
Okay.
up.
Hold on.
I've been doing this Instagram thing. This is the past couple times from a podcast. What's up, Siobhan? Hey, girl, how are you doing? No fun guy.
Wanted you to go live. Join room.
Yes.
Done.
Okay, yeah, and just turn the volume down on the phone.
Done.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for joining me today.
Thank
Hold
you
on.
for having me.
Now I need to turn my volume down. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Is the phone on you? Because I can't see you on my Instagram.
Oh, did you want the phone on me?
Well, but yeah, otherwise people that are looking, they're going to be like, who the hell is she talking to, a wall? There you are. Oh, yeah, Stephanie's talking to a wall again. Yeah. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. You were so fabulous. We were introduced through a good friend of both of ours, Steve Penny-Ean. Steve, you got to be, I hope you're watching today.
You better.
Yeah, I guess, did he reach out to you? I think he reached out to both of us, like, OMG, y'all need to connect. Y'all are both
Definitely.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so I was telling him about the podcast, and he goes, "Have you ever heard of?" And I was like, "No, I mean, I'm just getting into it, so I'm just trying to look up different podcasters and different things." He goes, "I can't believe you don't know her." And so we started talking about you, and I was like, "No, you're right. I can't believe I don't know you." So
Yeah.
yes.
And it's all over then at that point.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna have to like pardon me as well. I've got the sniffles. I overdid it last week in New York. That's just how I roll. I run 1,000 miles an hour 100% of the time, and I think that I can just do that. And I get back, and I'm like, So, but anyway, so Ashley, I like to just get real deep.
Okay.
And with my very first question, and I ask, so I love the podcast, like, Pardon My Sarcasm. I want to talk about your real estate business and what you got into that, but this Pardon My Sarcasm, like, that is so freaking cool. Like, that resonates so deep with me. Tell me about what happened like in your life, because that's a pretty specific name that like there's a lot packed
Right.
into that name. So just tell me about yourself.
Okay, so really, it probably should have been just part of my mouth,
I
part of my
love it.
part of my French, part of my attitude, part in all of it. We had to come up with one word, as you know, for a show, you got to only come up with one thing. So part of
Yeah.
my sarcasm, it had a great ring to it, and I don't know. As soon as I say it to somebody, they know exactly what I mean, and I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
explain it. So with you,
Mm-hmm.
when I said part of my sarcasm, you're like, I love it. You don't even know what it
Yeah.
is, and you love it, right? And so I can be sarcastic. I like to, I always find myself, I'm the one that tells jokes, or when things get tough or stressed out, people get stressed out, I crack a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Or I
Mm-hmm.
say
Yeah.
something really stupid, and I've used my comedy, used my humor. Maybe it comes from the whole Dangerfield thing with Rodney Dangerfield, but I've always used that though as a way to just to make people comfortable.
Right.
So part of my sarcasm happens to be funny. And
Mm-hmm.
I love telling stories. I'm a storyteller. I'm always the one going, "Oh, let me tell you this story," and
Uh-huh.
people get enthralled into the story, and I make them laugh. Is my Instagram still on? I don't know if that's still.
There
It's on.
you are.
Okay,
Yes, there you
just
are.
have to make sure it stays on. So,
Okay.
um, so like I said, I've always used that to help people, get through different challenges, or myself.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, there's been times where if I didn't laugh or crack a joke, I would cry,
Absolutely.
or slap somebody in the head,
Knock somebody right out.
knock somebody out. So I've always used, a positive spin or positive attitude, or like I said, just a joke, or sarcasm to
Right.
make things better.
Well, humor, healing with humor is one of the, I think, the most efficient ways. When you look, I mean, because think about sitcoms. Like if that sitcom were a real life scenario,
Right.
you'd be like, holy shit. Like, wow. But they're able to laugh, and they're able to make fun and bring that out in a humorous way where you're like, laugh my ass off, laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
And, so, but think about what humor does to, like on a biological level within the body, raising the endorphins, up leveling the serotonin and things that bring about those feel good hormones that rewire chemicals in the brain that bring about a better emotional state.
It does. It raises the energy in the room,
Hmm.
no matter what you're doing, no matter what kind of energy it is.
So Siobhan says that there's a big echo on Instagram.
It's probably my phone.
Okay.
Not sure how to turn it, because remember, this is all new to me as well.
Oh,
Um,
it's okay.
so, oh, I hear the echo. I don't know how to turn. Hold on. Let me see if I know how to turn.
Like the volume.
Yeah.
So I know there's a Facebook user hearing it too. They're probably in my group.
Right. So I can hear myself on Instagram. The echo, but I'm just
So
not sure if
have
I
you
turn it
turned
off.
the
Yeah,
have you
it's
turned the
off.
volume down?
Yeah, it's off, I think.
The volume. Like not the ringer, but the volume.
Now you make me feel dumb. Hold on.
Sorry guys, well
Pardon
we're,
my
we're trying to work this
sarcasm.
out. I someone says Ashley use headphones.
I don't
Well
have
that
any right
won't
now.
work on head,
Next
yeah,
time.
like with
Next time. Hold on. I got it. Sounds, vibrate on ring, vibrate on head, ringers and alerts. Oh.
Okay, are y'all still hearing? Because we might have to just do away with Instagram today, but it's like, so you know how like when you're on your phone and you're listening to somebody and you want to turn them down because they are too loud.
Yeah.
That's the volume button.
Yeah. I think I might have turned it off.
Okay, all right, we'll continue. Let us know
Okay.
if you're still hearing echo, and I'll just do away. Okay. Actually, I'm just going to do that now because I think you left. That's okay.
Okay.
Guys, come and join us on Facebook, on my page on Facebook, Stephanie McPherson, or the Defo Rick and Licious and You group, or YouTube. All right, cool. We're back. We're back.
Yay.
Hey, this is the beauty of live, right? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So yeah, so you started, when did you start your podcast? Pardon
20
my
weeks ago.
12 weeks ago?
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Had
And
gotten back from a trip from St. Thomas before I
mhm,
left. I've been wanting to do it for a while, like over a year. Bought the equipment right before COVID started and chickened out. I chickened out. And then this time I said, I'm going to do it. I'm,
yeah, yeah.
I'm going to do it. So,
Well, it's amazing, like, right around a year ago at this time, like, I've been in this realm of creation and being in a mindset coach, a health coach for several years now, but there was something that was blocking me, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I knew what I wanted to do,
mhm,
but it was something, again, sight unseen, that was blocking my just taking that leap, taking those steps. And I went on I guess a me, myself, and I vacation literally a year ago. What's funny, ironically, it was July 12th. Last year, I
okay,
went to the beach all by myself, and then when I came back, it's like whatever was there stifling me, just was completely released, and then all that's
wow,
come forth. So, but yeah, so tell me about, like, like your life, like some of the revelations, epiphanies, experiences in your life that have brought you to where you are today. What sparked within you to create your real estate
right.
company? And
So, throughout my life, I'm 48 years old. Throughout my life, I've had a lot of challenges. There were some
mhm,
family issues. There was just, I was in abusive relationships. I've been in a couple of failed marriages. I've lost a child. There's just a roller coaster of events. And I was actually sharing last night with my boyfriend, and,
mhm,
because some of the things he didn't know, and he was listening very attentively. But what I realized when I was sharing is that I was sharing and I was becoming more powerful by talking about it. Whereas
right,
10, 15 years ago, if I would have talked about it, I'd been tearing up, and, I would tell the story differently. I was telling the story as if, poor me, I've had such a peppered past, and,
mhm,
the challenge after challenge after challenge. When last night, when I was telling the story, I was like, and this is why I'm the way I am.
yes,
So it's just telling the
absolutely,
story differently. And for me, being on a podcast or being on your show, or, telling that story is about, educating others
mhm,
through, more powerful, empowering conversations,
mhm,
right? And
mhm,
so when we have these candid conversations and talk about, things that I went through and you went through, and
mhm,
you talk about them without sugarcoating it,
right,
we talk about it with some power, you're able to, like you said, empower others, educate, and entertain. Because when I tell my
right,
story, no matter how treacherous the story may be, I tell it in a way that's very entertaining. So,
right.
you know,
Absolutely.
yeah,
You know, and I love that, because the perspective that you gain when you realize, okay, we all have a journey. We're all on different journeys. And when you and we've all had pull out the rug from under me situations. We've all had crazy bullshit happen. But when you come at it, like it sounds like you did, come at it from a place of, wow, this is my life. There is gift. There
yeah,
is gift in my story. There is gift in my life, in my journey, that, that someone else who resonates, or who's dealt with something similar, or been through a similar situation, will also feel that empowered, instead of feeling deflated. You can see yourself as a victim or a victor. And um like, I've been through uh some pull out the rug from under me situations, that I'm actually writing a fucking book. I'm writing an autobiography, but it's told through a lens of humor, most of it.
right.
And it's like, and it's scary, and it's very scary to put this out there. But I feel in my heart, like I'm reading Anthony Bourdain's book. Oh God, now that I literally started reading it this morning. Kitchen Confidential.
Okay, I have to write that down. Hold on.
Yes, Kitchen Confidential, and it was recommended me by Clemenza, who I was, visiting in New
Yeah.
York last week, and it was just like it's a raw and real per, portrayal of his entire life, and being a chef and working in kitchens. And like I said, I've only read the first couple chapters, but I already know just in the tone that he set for the book, like this is gonna where he thought, oh my God, this is gonna happen. I'm probably not gonna get invited here. These group of people are gonna hate me. People were like, no, we celebrate you because of
Oh,
what you've
nice.
been through. And so yeah, so talk a little bit about some of these situations that brought about this epiphany and this mindset for you.
Well, just in regular life. So, you talked about me being in real estate. I've been in real estate for 23 years. I was a single mother when I started. And, it was tough. I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty young. And, it's very challenging. There was, awful divorce. There's we had child, what do you call it? Custody battle going
Custody
on.
battle.
Yeah. And I was trying to start a career, and it was hard. It was really hard. And, I didn't go to college. So, I was relying on my wit and my drive and my entrepreneurship and my hustle to, make a living. And I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed now. But, while I was going through those challenges, it was just hard. It was
Right.
just hard. And I,
Yeah.
I felt for lots of different relationships, not just like dating relationships, but friends, got taken
Mhm.
advantage of in here and there, partnerships, throughout the years. And in that, my roller coaster, one of the
Yeah.
things that somebody told me, I've actually think it was my mother. She goes, "You're the only person I know that can literally fall off a horse, get trampled on, and get right back up like it never happened." And I was like, well,
That's
what's the alternative here?
right.
What was the alternative? I really didn't have anybody that was, to help me, to support me, or nobody was going to listen to my bullshit. And, even if I just didn't have that huge sphere of influence that would have helped me up or let me lay there. And so I would just get right back up and try again. And, but I took that as such a compliment. It was it's the compliment that I won't ever forget. And now when I fall off the horse, I'm like, I guess I'm supposed to get back up. There was that. Then, just being a real estate agent in general, what the funny thing about that is a lot of people say, oh, I'm getting my real estate license. I love to sell houses. I would love to stage them and take pictures and blah, blah, blah. That is absolutely the worst analogy or, example of what real estate is. The worst.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is that other people, when they say, hey, I'm thinking about getting my real estate license, the people don't tell them that isn't what real estate's about, right? It's about challenges. It's about the emotional. It's about, the divorces and the marriages and the problems and, the closings that don't happen on time, the ones that, you overpromise. I don't know. It's just such a ball. It's very stressful. It's very stressful for all parties involved. But at times, there have been times that, just go home after a long week or after a long day and just want to crawl up on a ball and cry. You're like, but you get back up on that horse.
Right.
Kicked you in the teeth, who, stomped on all your stuff. So with that, though, became, for me, being frustrated by a lack of quality communication. Right. That I saw amidst the whole industry and with the people, with husbands and wives and families, the lack of communication. Also, being a professional, I had to be careful what I said all the time. Right. I do curb a lot of I used to curb a lot of the things that I did because I was in a growing business. Now I'm a little different. I'm a little older. I don't care. If you don't want to work with me because of my views and my thoughts,
Thank you. Because you want to bring in people that are going to resonate with your core values. Right. And because when you start not being who you are for, money or for anything, then it's not going to be, you're dismissing yourself. You're diminishing your power. You're diminishing who you are.
Right. So I feel like your question was, to go back to your question, is that, what kind of experiences it was the whole disingenuous, not authentic. I wasn't authentic to myself. I've always been, in the past, I've always kept my mouth shut for the sake of protecting myself, protecting my heart, protecting my head. Remember, I was by myself essentially most of my life, taking care of myself. So one of the mechanisms I did that is to, watch what I said. Because I've had moments where I've spoken out and wanted to be honest and have this communication, and it backfired, very bad.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. Yep.
with family or,
Mhm.
relationships. It's
Mhm.
backfired awfully. And I felt like it only hurt me.
Mhm.
So why would me speaking out if it's not going to help anybody and it's only going to hurt me? Why don't I just keep my mouth shut and put on that real estate face, that whole
Right.
open house, hi, how you doing? Everything's fine, which kind of turned into me being very positive, which is who I was in general. I love being positive. I love helping people. But it also, fast forward, now all I want to do is say whatever the hell, hell I want to say.
Yeah.
But I want to do it in a way that empowers others and
Right.
helps them, have those educative conversations or learn about topics. My
Mhm.
podcast, it's a mixture. It's a mixtape. I call it a mixtape because I'm a baby of the 80s. I call it a mixtape of sex, drugs, rock and roll, racism, current affairs. What do you think? Do you care about this? Different. It doesn't really matter. We pick a topic when the person gets
Mhm. Right, absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
And so, and it doesn't matter what we talk about. It can sometimes we go in a rabbit hole somewhere. I talk about we talk a lot about relationships because that's obviously that's what people do.
Yeah.
We all have relationships with people, with friends, with family. But and I love doing it. I want to talk more though. It's only been 12 weeks and I love my show. I
Mhm.
can't wait to continue. I have a co-host. His name is Fuzzy B. I have to hand it to him that he's the one that before I went on my trip and I was going to come back, I promised him that we would do this. And he's the
Yes.
one that put it in my face and said, what do you have to lose? I said,
Right.
you had mentioned something about 2 minutes ago. You said something about speaking out and being fearful about what other people think or what the repercussion would be. Remember, in my past, there had always been a repercussion. And I
Right.
was like, well, if I start going out here talking about penises and boobs and relationships and drugs and weed, if I start
Right.
talking about stuff like that, no matter what context it is, people are going to maybe there's going to be a backlash.
Right.
Or
Of
maybe
course.
some
Yeah.
people won't talk to me. Or, sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, if somebody's really religious and they see this, they're going to think I'm the devil or a witch, but that's not really that new.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's my point is that so I'm not going to let that stifle my voice because I know that I've lost people since I've started empowered conversations, but I
Right.
don't give a
Okay.
rat's ass because my truth, your truth, everyone needs to put their truth out there. Maybe not in the way that I do it, maybe not in the way that you do it. How we do things is not for everybody, but it's anything worth doing or anything that's ever let's erase that. Anything that's ever evolved and brought us to a better, more expansive place has come with haters, has
Yes.
come at the expense of generating haters. And those who live an authentic life have a lot of haters because we're it's like we're conditioned. Like they tell us when we're little kids, "Oh, be yourself." But it's
But shut your
weird
mouth.
how what? What'd you say?
Yeah, but shut your mouth and don't say that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's weird how then as we go on into life, I call them people pleasers. Well, people pleasing doesn't do shit. It does nothing. It keeps everything as like right here where it's supposed to be, or regresses it. So and talking about some of the subject that you brought on, dick and pussy and sex and drugs and racism. These are things that need to be talked about.
Right.
Because think about 100 years ago or 200 years ago when you and I, we didn't even, there was no way we would even have a place to speak of anything like that. And again, it's not for everybody. And I'm not saying that my cup of tea or who I am is everybody's cup of tea or you, but you know, I love what you're doing. That's why you're on, my podcast is because you're a earth shaker. You're earth shaker and you're part of that which I consider an extraordinary person doing something amazing in service to others, whether some people who are still living in oh my god, I was watching this new show on Netflix. It's called My Unorthodox
Mhm.
Life, and it's about this woman who grew up in fundamentalist Judaism and how she was like, no, done. I don't believe in any of this. But her daughter at one point is raising. I don't know if she's at a women's march. I have no idea, but she's raising a big billboard that says, "I am the granddaughter," or "We are the granddaughters of the witches you didn't burn."
Oh,
And as she's holding that up, she says, people try, tell you, think outside the box. Well, she goes, I don't believe that there is a box.
oh,
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm one of those people who I don't believe in boxes. I believe in access. So we don't know what we don't know until we are aware, until we have access to it. It doesn't mean that it didn't exist beforehand. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I had just said something to somebody yesterday, a couple days ago. I said, I believe very similar to where certain ideas or concepts are sent, like this is my esoteric way, but are sent out to a lot of people, the ones that can maybe grasp it.
Right.
Not everybody at that time is going to grasp it. So if the same message was sent to you and me, the timing might be wrong. You might not have been listening. You might not have been ready, whatever. One of us is going to catch it, and whoever catches it, ideally, can do something with it. And I believe, that's how I believe as far as like spiritually, is that we're all here, just like the unorthodox, back in the day, we're all here to progress as humanity, as a society, as a community.
Yes.
And those messages that come out, the message that you hear through my, me being a channel, you being a channel, everybody being a channel, like I said, those topics that come up, they don't just come out of nowhere. Well,
Right.
they do. They kind of do. They come from people. They come
Mhm.
from the community. The topics, usually it's because of something that's going on, right now, either in my life or, somewhere, and I think these messages are important to talk about, to keep them going, kind of like that ripple effect. If I tell you and you tell somebody and that person talks about it in a group at a party, and
Right.
you hear something that's a nugget that helps you in your life,
Yeah.
then what have I done? If I can help somebody and not know it, I don't even care to know it.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't even care. And so I
Right.
just want to know, and I already do know. I know that empowered conversations, candid conversations, entertaining conversations in general are where the magic happens. And if I
Absolutely.
can be part of that, then call me a witch.
What, you know what? Woman in total control of herself.
Oh, I love it.
And bitch is babe in total control of herself. Um, to your point, about planting seeds, and anything that is has that it's in our reality was first a thought in the mind. Have you ever read the book The Science of Getting Rich?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite books. It takes about half an hour to read, guys, but it's so thin. But he talks about that is anything that is in existence was first a thought in the mind. And and what you just said earlier is like if you're talking and somebody in the room, you have several people in the room and some will shut it down. They won't hear it because they don't have the bandwidth at that point in time or previous knowledge and experience to then receive the nugget that you just dropped, whereas somebody else in the room did. And then that evolves that you're like, "Ooh, yeah," or "I've been thinking about that." And when you start to see, and again, that's why one of the biggest reasons why I have discernment, but I don't judge.
Mm.
And one of my favorite, well, not favorite, but best examples is what has happened here the past 8 years politically, where an idea, the concept of someone becoming president, and then what that did, on left, let's just say left and right, both started speaking up and out, and that was necessary. Those conversations to evolve us, and we have evolved. So, and my point being that those people on the right have not lived the experiences that bring about the mindset, that lens the eyes see through, that creates the mindset on the left. And equally, people on the left have maybe their awareness to something is so much, it's something greater that that they can't see, how people on
Right.
the right, but no one's right and no one's wrong. It's all relative to our own individual sense experiences, that create our mindset.
Yeah. So when you said earth shaker, you said an earth shaker or trailblazer or whatever.
Yeah.
I think you do. I was everything that you say. I swear I've just talked about this week.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So one of the things I said about politics in general, because I call myself, I wouldn't say I'm on either side. I'm on my side, and
Right. Yeah,
there's a
you're
lot of things on
absolutely.
both sides. There's a lot of things on both sides. I disagree with politics in general. I don't agree with, but at the end of the day, I do believe that the conversations, true, honest, candid conversations, are what will change the world. But
Yes.
it can't be like politics is trying to do and the government's trying to do, is to curb this and curb that. Because when you start stifling listen, if you start to stifle my voice, my true
Mhm.
voice, my truth, you got hell to pay, because my positive nature will go right out the window, and you'll see a side of me
Right.
that nobody wants to see. I don't even want to see it, right? And
Right.
so when
Right.
you start to stifle those voices of the world and the voices of our community, which I would hate to see that. I would hate to see what happens. But your example about like the president and the shaking people up needed to happen.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I'm
care. I
saying.
don't care who it is in there. But, everybody from
Mhm.
Kanye West to Trump to who. I don't care who it
Yes.
is. We just got to
Yes.
get people talking. And I'm really big
Exactly.
on, I don't necessarily have to agree with your politics or your religion or your view, but I do respect people that stand up on the soapbox to shout.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
like somebody who's a jerk. I don't like
Right.
somebody who's a bully. I'm 100%
Mhm.
against both of them. I don't like anybody who's judgmental, but if you feel it in your heart and there's somebody who needs to hear it, I feel that anybody who stands up on a soapbox gets my vote. They get my
Absolutely.
respect.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't have to agree with you.
Right. Yeah, speaking their truth.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what I love about what you said, like in the very beginning, is when you realized that the industry that you were in for a while, you were having to be something that you truly authentically weren't. And
Mhm.
then you woke up and realized that is serving no one.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've always, it's funny because all the things, when somebody asks me, who are you and what do you do? I always would say, I'm a service to others. I serve others. But then what I realized getting older and wiser is that no, I wasn't. I wanted to be that person, and I
Mhm.
put it out there that way, but by me stifling my voice and me not doing the things that I wanted to do was not serving others. And so I was being ingenuous to myself,
Mhm.
as opposed to being ingenuous to other people, or and I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't understand it.
Right.
And you said
Yeah.
about being a people pleaser, mine was people pleaser slash doormat.
Mhm.
And I can sometimes fall back into that, but you know my goal, like with my podcast, is to be on other shows and to travel and just to have more and more and more and more empowering conversations until my damn lips fall off. I don't know.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
no lack of words. I can just talk forever. I could probably sit here and talk with you for another 24 hours.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I love that.
And that's what I want to do in those conversations. I want, I like fun conversations. The empowering ones though, that talking about, you know, women issues and, what was it last week? I think the last couple of weeks it's been Men's Mental Health Week. And then there was Minority Mental Health Week. And, we talk about mental health all the time. So
Yes.
we might be talking, my episode, had something to do with boobs and beer and bar crawls. But, to be honest with you, it was about mental health,
Right.
which
Right.
sometimes boobs and beer and bar crawls might have help with your mental health. But it's a balance, it's a balanced conversation with all of it.
Yeah. And, mental health, or the concept of mental health and wellness, was such a stigma, for our parents or our grandparents, that it was not discussed. And then something came along and shook that to where, if it's commonplace, or common to, and we don't criminalize and we don't, demean like we did 30, 40, 50 years ago, 60, 70 years ago, people who are having mental health issues because people started talking about it, because they started to develop, drugs such as Prozac, and then that evolved into Lexapro and all the other SSRIs to where it became commonplace to talk about mental health. And I think we're even evolving from that to where we're waking up and realize that a lot of mental health is our choices. And when you make certain choices, your choices create your reality. So if you want, a better reality, then you have to make a different choice. If you want a different reality, you have to make a different choice. But the ownership is on us. The power, we have the power. Unless, there's those that are born, schizophrenia or bipolar or that's a different entity of itself. But just depression and anxiety and some of that, or a lot of that is relative to, what have you been putting out there? What are you choosing? Instead of playing the victim and whining and bitching, how can you change that?
I think that it's social media and where we're at now with technology. I was listening to a show yesterday, and they was talking about how narcissistic we've all become because you're thinking, oh, where'd you go? Are you there? I'll just keep talking. So how narcissistic that you've become because, you're thinking about, what I post is important, or what me streaming is important. So I was listening to it and it was talking about being a little bit narcissistic, but are you there? Yeah.
Yes. No, it just went out.
Okay. Well, yeah, the show is talking about being narcissistic, that just a society of narcissists. Like we think people care what we think, what I think. We think that people want to know what you're eating or, what you're wearing and your selfies and things like that. But then I started thinking about it, but also at the same time, think about what you just said. I just put this together, by the way, is that we also, by doing that, take a little bit more responsibility for our choices that way.
Yes.
So, it makes me be more aware that, oh, wait, if I'm in charge of my narcissistic behavior and my selfies and my food, I'm also responsible for my bad attitude, especially if somebody calls me out on social media or whatever. But, because you do have that choice to push and to edit or, to post something good or post something bad or post something ugly or post something, just to be an asshole, or you post something, I love when people post good things. Sometimes it's like, fairies and angels and, and puppies. What is it? The two biggest things are puppies and babies, right?
Right. Yeah.
But, sometimes I'd rather see that than some of the, politics.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's funny. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is choice. And it's like, I often hear people complaining about, Facebook being drama. I'm like, Facebook, my feed's not filled with drama, but it's because of what I've chosen to interact with and engage with, which is why my news feed is filled with a lot more fabulousness.
Right.
And that's what I also choose to share. It doesn't mean that I don't have a bad day or bullshit isn't happening in my life, but what am I choosing to focus on? And even at that, I'm not perfect at that. I mean, we have our bad days. I mean, yesterday, and part of this is me being tired from like running 2,000 miles an hour last week and then trying to, keep that up this week. And it's just like, no, Stephanie, you've got to rest. But then I start to realize I'm starting to feel sad. I'm starting to get paranoid. I'm starting to get worried about shit. I'm starting to compare myself and to what everybody else is doing. And I'm like, oh my God, Stephanie, really? You need to sit back and relax. So I picked up Anthony Bourdain's book today while I was having my coffee sitting in my sacred space. And I'm already delighted.
Nice.
Yeah.
My week was like that last week.
Yeah.
It was funny because our episode, we talked about integrity, which I didn't bring it up. My guest did. And we talked about it, people lacking in integrity. But the funny thing is, I not funny, but my whole week was about dealing with people mostly in business, mostly in my industry, that lacked integrity in not in general, but in an instance or
Mhm.
a situation, and
Right.
maybe didn't fess up to something or just wasn't bully about something. And so the end of my week, mind you, I said that I helped somebody, helped him move all weekend and clean and painting and shopping and doing my own life, so and real estate, closed 3
Mhm.
houses last week. It's really phenomenal right now.
That's awesome.
I'm blessed
Yeah.
and stressed.
Uh-huh.
And so,
Yeah.
like you, I was, ill over the weekend. I had all of a sudden got allergies. I don't even know why. It's not that time of year, but it was all of it. And I was like, wow, okay, I've got to chill out for a second and go
Mhm.
take a nap and, drink a glass of wine and just relax. And I did. And, last night went to one of my favorite restaurants, and it was just nice. But
Yeah.
you're right. That's a choice. That's a choice, because I promise you, there was 1 or 2 times where I did come unglued a little
Yeah.
in private and said some things I shouldn't have said. But thank God nobody was listening. So if
Yeah.
nobody's listening and you said something bad, did it really ever happen?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, I mean, and to your point, um, or I don't know if I know I'm one of these people, and where this comes from. I'm not, I think that I know, but I feel like I've always got to be doing, and that part of my worth and value is in the doing. So even though last week was so full of doing, and not just doing for fun, but I mean doing in a way that I'm trying to receive some, certain things in my life that are going to enable me to help fulfill my purpose. And then this week, I'm taking a nap yesterday, and I'm beating myself. I'm sitting there trying to talk myself into not feeling bad or guilty about taking the damn nap.
Right.
And this morning, I had my alarm set for 7:30. I was going to get up. I had, a gym. I had this, and this I wanted to do for our podcast today. And I couldn't get out of bed, and I'm laying there and I'm like, Stephanie, allow yourself to rest. Your body needs to rest. Now you're feeling stopped up because you're not allowing yourself to rest. Plus you're emotionally beating yourself up because when, you know, go, go, go. One of my best friends describes me. Stephanie's like a puppy. Go, 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 crash. Feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. Go, 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 crash. And, but it's like, I need to allow myself so the crash isn't, so now I'm sick. So now, I mean, well, I'm not sick, but so yeah, okay, so I'm sick. I've got this nasally drainage and stuff. And I'm like, if you would just listen to your body, because everything, it's not always going, woo, because you got to rest. You got to stay in. So, but yeah,
Yeah. I feel you. You took the words out of my mouth.
yes, just always got to be doing something. And me and my girlfriends on some of the other podcasts, some of the other coaches are all, we talk about this. It's like, and a lot of that is that patriarchal conditioning. And as women, because, for so long, we were, kept in our little corner over here. And it's almost though, as in trying to catch back up to bring about the equilibrium, you know, it's like you feel like, okay, I've got to be fulfilling my purpose, my purpose, my purpose, my purpose, my purpose.
I feel like a lot of times, and so it's like you said, it's a balance though, because as an agent, a lot of people say, well, you just go above and beyond and then some. And that's me being a little bit of people pleaser. I love servicing others. I get joy out of that. Like
Yeah.
they say, what do you do for fun? I'm like, I help people. And but at the same time, I notice sometimes I'm an overperformer, and not trying to prove anything. I don't think. Maybe I'm trying to prove something to myself, because I want to make sure that, like, when I walk away, you're like, that girl did a great job. And sometimes I probably go a little bit overboard and do an exceptional, not just an exceptional job, but I probably do a little bit too much, just to make sure, kind of putting the extra icing on the cake, maybe,
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm comparing myself maybe to that patriarchal society, right? Where
Right.
so I tend to overperform a little bit in that respect, or at least blame it on that sometimes. But at the end of the day, I'm still probably going to do the same thing for you. I bring you boxes and tape and Sharpies, and then I'll help you move. If you ask me to, I'll help you move. I mean, if you ask me to, I'll go clean. it's just who I am, until the deal is done, I will go
Yeah.
above and beyond. And just a lot of reasons for it. But that's also the same reason why, I can't take that nap, because I could be doing something for you.
Right. But and that was like to my point, it's like it's something subconscious that's causing me to beat myself up if I'm not, because my worth and value, even though I know it's not tied to my doing, sometimes your worth and value is just in your being. And so when I'm beating myself up because I'm, taking that nap or sleeping in a little bit later or not getting up, it's I'm supposed to be resting, because it's like, okay, so for instance, like when you're on a plane, they tell you to put your mask on first.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't care for yourself, and a lot of women do this, that they're always exhausting themselves at the expense of themselves to
Right.
give, to do, to give, to give. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And even though I know this, it still subconsciously doesn't stop me from that. Stephanie, you could be doing something right now. No, Stephanie, no, no, no. So it's like this battle, like the angel and the devil on your shoulders. Go do something. No, Steph, rest. You'll be so much better for others
Yeah.
if you're rested.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So note to self, take that nap.
Yeah. Absolutely. Take that nap. Sleep in. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, there for a couple of weeks there, I was sleeping until 10:30, and I was like, okay, that's okay. It didn't mean that that's what I did throughout the entire pandemic, but I allowed myself to go. You know what? What you can't go to the gym, you can't go anywhere, you can't do things. Just allow yourself. And again, the pandemic was a reset for everyone, the whole world, collectively, to slow down and
Right.
reevaluate. And for me, it was an extremely very positive experience. It doesn't mean that it wasn't a pain in the ass or there wasn't nuisances about it, but I took that opportunity to really, work on that which I had been wanting to bring to the world for many years. And, like yourself, so many people, because you started your podcast like within the last little bit. So many people started things over the past year and a half that they've been wanting, that they then had the opportunity to do. I know my co-host Siobhan, she had been wanting, and she had been saying, oh, I wish I didn't have to work all the time so I could create this, so I could do that, so I could do this. And then all of a sudden, boom, that was her reality. And that's indeed what she wound up doing. Now she's teaching, laughter yoga. She's a mindset coach,
It was interesting to me because right at the towards the end of last year, all of a sudden I started seeing a lot of divorces
Yeah.
and breakups, and
Mhm.
not good ones either. They weren't, not that any of them are great, but these were very very bitter, very argumentative, very lots of ugliness. And I love it.
Mhm.
But more than just that, it was more I saw one or both walk away. They didn't want to fight. They're just like, you know what, I'm done. See ya.
Yeah.
Keep everything and don't even ever call me again. That type of bitter. That's what
Right. Wow.
fighting. At least fighting, you got some passion in it and maybe some love.
Exactly.
Some of these that I saw last year at the end of the year, there wasn't any love. It was more like, I'm done. You can do whatever you want. Keep it all. And so, but also I saw some great relationships start. I saw, so, there's that balance. But the cool thing I saw is that, like you said about people slowing down, a lot of people were in maybe a one job or, one track mind. And when they had to stop, when they had to slow down, when they come to a halt, they didn't know what the hell to do. Same thing with businesses. So businesses, they're just one track. They're going, full force, straightforward. They weren't prepared to pivot.
Right. Thank you. That word.
Yeah. As a society, we're not prepared to pivot. Right. I personally don't think that our society should have been that discombobulated, for lack of better words, discombobulated by the pandemic. I really think that we could have done better, but we don't get the chance to go back and do it again.
Right.
Ideally, would never have to do it again either. But I just don't think we pivoted well. I don't think that businesses pivoted well. I don't think that everybody, but some people did. And this is, so for me, I did continue to work. I was as a real estate agent considered as essential, but I also was a notary, so I was doing mobile notary because I can't go to the bank and get something notarized. So
Yeah.
I pivoted though. I was like, "Ooh, what can I do? What can I do? Oh my God, I don't want to go through a recession. I got to make money. I can't not make money." I was freaking out.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
pivoted and I started saying, "Okay, well, what could I do?
Hmm.
If we never go back." So I was, but I'm an entrepreneur as well. But I saw
Right.
other people with the employee mindset that didn't pivot, they just sat there and did nothing. But I also think a lot of the people that I talked to, like some people are like, oh, they were just lazy. No, I think a lot of them actually took that time to rest. A lot of them picked up a book,
Yes.
picked up some art, picked up this. I don't think it was necessarily has to be a bad thing for most of the population that had to sit at home and pivot. Um,
Right.
yes, I saw some people that had unemployment and the stimulus and stuff. But I also know the same amount of people that actually took that money, even though, of course, some people are going to go, oh, you're lazy and you just spent money on staying home and eating. Well, I actually saw a lot of people take that money and pay off debt. I'm talking about the little
Yes.
small
Yes.
employee
Yep.
that was getting extra money. I saw my son did it. He paid off some debt here and there, and he got a boost that he wasn't expecting,
Hmm. Absolutely.
and got, but he was doing Uber, but he still had to stop for a while.
Hmm.
But he actually came out of it, better. And I saw
Yes.
another person that I know, she learned how to braid hair. It was
Yeah. Uh-huh.
she learned how to braid hair and she sells it on Etsy. So she started a whole nother business and
Yes.
she paid off debt.
Yep.
All this stuff was good. So it's all in how you look at it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That, there were things that I was able to do with that were good for my home, that brought the value up in my home. I increased my credit score over 100 points and I paid off my car. So there were very good things, that I chose. Again, I could have gone, I don't know, gone out and bought a bunch of wine and just drank myself silly, but that wasn't what I chose to do.
Yeah, that would have been fun though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would have been fun. Hell yeah, it would have been fun. But and now, oh my God, I will tell you this, and now it's just like I will. I've always wanted to travel, like, and I've been out of the country a couple times, but not to the extent that I want to experience the frickin' world. And this past year and a half, well, now we're in a half. So, but during 2020, I just know it just gave me this itch, this ache. I want to see the world. When I've got to get out there. I've got to go to all these other countries. I've got to see the world. Because traveling, and I had a woman on my podcast, Jacqueline, who talks about the difference between vacation and travel and what traveling, around, to different countries and different places and what that does. And me going, to Europe a couple different times, Amsterdam, specifically, what that enabled me to then open my mind and my heart up to what was possible, and learning about others, and just the dichotomy that exists, and how there's just so much value that everyone has to offer if you just give it the chance. So, but yeah, I'm ready to get out here and travel.
So one more thing, just to go back to your very first question about why I'm here, why I'm doing this, and why. So my
Yeah.
very first episode is 20 minutes long. It's start with why, and that's is the why I'm doing this.
Yes.
So of course it was because I love that book, but because of my personality, you described me very well, being outgoing and not knowing a stranger. I'm able just to talk. I'm able to have empowering conversations with somebody that I just met like in 2 seconds, and people just start coming up to me and gravitate and literally tell me their life story. And I'm like, why in the hell did they just tell me all this? And I'm like a lantern in the dark, and
A
attracting
bright
a
light.
bright light.
Yeah, you are.
And so, but with the travel piece, I think what's gone on my whole life is that because I've been, because I'm a curious soul and I
Yeah.
like asking questions and I like talking to people. you have so many perspectives. That's why it's really, I don't judge people at all.
Mhm.
Sometimes I get mad and they'll say something
Yeah.
ugly. I'll be like, oh, girl, did you see that girl, what she was wearing? Or, something like that. I mean, but for the most part, I just see people as people. But it's because I ask questions. It's because when I go out of the country or traveling, I really try to understand different people and different cultures, different things that they do, or different religions, and different, just the difference between me moving people here from up north, and I'm from
Yeah.
South Carolina in the South. There's a difference, and if you embrace the difference instead of going those damn Yankees and those
Yeah. Yeah.
those country hillbilly, whatever, or
Yeah.
those blacks and those whites and those women and those this and those, I just don't see it that way, because
Right.
to me, people is my hobby. To me, to me, people and conversations are my hobby. Listening
Yes.
and watching others is what I embrace, and that's why I'm in a podcast, I guess.
I love that because I don't know about you, but like all day today, I've been like, even when I was laying there for my nap earlier, I was like thinking of all the stuff that I want to say, not necessarily just like today, but just, and I'm not going to stop myself. I'm not going to stifle myself. And a lot of the things, that I'm using my voice. I'm sharing my heart, my truth, whether people agree with it or not. Um, the floodgates are open.
Mm-hmm.
The floodgates are open. There's no, and it is scary. It is scary, but it's like once the mind has expanded, there is no going back to that. There is no right.
Thoughts?
And I was, today, and I was asking myself, like, what about these people who don't have that experience? Like, what is it like
Mhm.
to not have that expansive mindset, to not want to learn, to just want to stay inside of? I mean, it's like, well, what is that like? What do they think about? Like, I'm constantly thinking about, oh, like what I want to fucking talk about. Are
I'm
you
always
that way? Do you do
Yeah.
that?
I'm always thinking about how to change the world. So yes, and some people, their world is that box.
Yeah.
And I don't know the box either. I must have broke out of that bitch when I was like 2.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And so there is no box for me, and I don't understand, but I still respect when somebody says, the box. Because if the
Yeah.
box is true for you, then the box is true for me, for you.
Exactly.
But you're right, though. You can't put yourself back in the box. It would be like trying to, those mattresses that blow up. You can't put that
Yes.
mattress back in that box.
No.
My brain
No.
is like one of those mattresses or, cushion or something that's got, you can't push it back in. That's a
No.
lot of things you can't push back in, into the original
Even
wrapper.
even a cord.
Oh,
Like if you undo something like that has a cord to it, and you're trying to, oh shit, I got to take it back to Target, and you can't get the cord wrapped around perfectly to stuff it in, and then
yeah.
part of the cardboard, that's supposed to clasp is hanging out like this. Yeah. No,
Exactly.
I
No, I
mean,
didn't use it. You can't even lie. No, I didn't use it.
yeah.
So that's what, but you can't. And for me, talking about the conversations, you can't unlearn it. You can't unteach it. You can't go back. I don't feel like I can go back. The last couple of years for my own mental growth and my own protection, and really just to grow internally, I did step back for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And I'm so glad that I did, because talk about empowering. I remember I told you I wasn't dating. I wasn't going out. I was just kind of at home, um, watching TV and
Yeah.
taking care of me. I was processing. I
Right.
knew for me, I was processing some heavy, mental, just because I didn't want to go through some things that I've been through before.
Uh-huh.
And I've come out like a monster. I'm not even scared of myself, but I have been a very micro aware of, wow, you're not scared of anything right now. That's kind of scary. It's scary not being afraid of anything, and that I could really, that the world is my oyster right now, and that I
Thank
am
you.
strong. I'm just strong, and
Thank
it
you.
feels great.
I absolutely love that. It's like I'm one of these people, and my bestest soulmate core core friends will tell you that, I want to live forever.
Yeah.
Be 150, 200 years old and look 20 and, feel 20. But I'm not afraid to die, if that makes any frickin' sense.
It does.
Because I don't want to die. I want to live forever. I mean, forever. I'd be a vampire. Bite me, sexy Twilight vampire. But because I just love life. And one of my best friends, Laura, will say Stephanie runs towards life with open arms. And like, for instance, that when I was in New York this past week with my girlfriend, Tina, we were in the city. Not once, not an eighth of an iota of an ounce of a moment did I ever feel unsafe. Me and Tina, we walked around. There were times I was walking around at night, like her and I would separate. She'd go back to where she lives in the Bronx, and I'd be walking back to the hostel I was staying in, and I'd be by myself. Not once. But I'm also an assertive walker. So somebody would look like a real fucking idiot if they were following me to like hurt me. But no, on a very serious note. But again, that doesn't mean, okay, so I've never been hit by a bus. So that, so that doesn't mean that I'm never going to get hit by a bus. So no, I've never, had something where I felt, I had something dangerous happen. But that's not to say that it wouldn't happen. But that's not my antenna.
Yeah.
Because my antenna are the world's a safe place and I'm safe. And I was walking around and I would pass men and, at night and I would make eye contact and I would smile at people and they would smile back. And I never, ever, and my friends, like people were texting me, my boyfriend, Stephanie, please be aware of your surroundings. Somebody was asking me, did you carry mace? I'm like, no, I ain't carrying a fucking mace. And some people would go, Stephanie, that's fucking stupid. And again, they might have had something dangerous happen to them, so that's in their field of reference and eyesight. But it's not, and I'm not naive either. But I am very intuitive. I'm very self-aware. But I'm also very assertive, and I do like I said, my antenna are that the world is a safe place.
Right. Well, I've just described it the same way because a lot of people are like, well, you're just naive. You're just reckless. You're this, you're that. And I feel, and I've had people tell me this, and I feel it, that I'm very intuitive. I talk about intuition a lot.
Yeah,
I'm very intuitive. I'm also not afraid if somebody was to come up on me, I will freak out. I will kill you. I will rip your, with my bare hands, I'll rip your vocal cords out. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But so I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to die, but I'm also not afraid to kill somebody if I felt threatened. Right. So there's that assertiveness that you say. But also here's the thing. If we're both walking down the street, separately, but on the same street, and you're walking down scared, and nothing happens to you, and I'm walking down happy and nothing happens, I'm having a better experience on that walk.
Yes.
Right? If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. That's what I feel. If it's going to happen, if somebody's going to come up on me, they're going to come up on me either way. I do feel a little bit on the law of attraction that if you're walking around like,
I agree,
manifesting it. But, if you don't believe in that type of manifesting, if somebody's going to rob you, they're going to rob you. Listen, there's nothing I'll give it all to you. I'll be like, you want this? You want my clothes, my phone? I don't care. Here you go. Sayonara. You want me to buy you some dinner? I don't know. I'll probably go above and beyond. I'm a service. I'll be like, do you need some therapy? You want to talk about it a little bit?
Would you like a massage? Yeah.
But I also feel like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I might as well enjoy my walk. But it was so funny because you're talking about, you cracked me up, and all the first thing that came to mind when I envisioned you.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Y'all, something's going on with she got cut out. I got cut out earlier. Let me text her. Hopefully she'll be able to join back in. There you are. Girl, I was dropping every damn curse. I was like, fuck, shit. That happened to me. So I guess, I don't know what's going on with the
It did.
broadcast today,
Yeah,
but
it
you
did the
just went
same
out. And
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it did the same thing when you did it. But that's funny. I hope everybody saw you live after I just called you hood a little
Yeah,
bit.
they heard me screaming. They heard me screaming
So
obscenities.
my vision of you walking down the street doing the same thing was, so you're adorable. You're like this beautiful flowy butterfly, right?
You.
And I'm like the girl next door, for the most part. And sometimes I'll wear a dress, sometimes I'll do my nails, and sometimes I'll wear makeup. But other times I'm just straight up hood.
Yeah.
Okay, so straight up hood rat, the things that come out of my mouth. But the funny thing, what made me laugh and what made me think of is I was sitting around three guys. I was at a restaurant. I was with my boyfriend, and he was introducing me to a couple of friends. And we started talking about self-defense and, walking downtown and things like that. And they're like, well, yeah, you should worry. And I'm like, me worry? I said, why in the hell would I worry? You should worry, I said,
Yeah.
if I was an attacker, I'd probably attack you before I attack me. And he said, well, do you carry a weapon? I said, well, I have my, concealed weapons permit. I said, but most of the time I'm always carrying a knife. And, I got a little backpack that I carry around all the time. It's my purse.
Yeah.
And he said, do you have a knife now or something? And I was like, I think so. I should. I better. I go look in my little baby backpack, and there's 3 knives in there. One of them is like this big, and it's like a cat skinner. It's huge. And everybody's looking at me like, holy shit, who are you? And why are you carrying three knives? And what's your obsession? I'm like, they're all of a sudden this whole new respect for me. They're like, wow, okay, well, don't want to sneak up on that girl in the middle, walking down the street in the city. And I will literally take that thing. I'll be like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut your face off. So I'm a little hood.
Yeah. But to your point, what you said earlier about, if someone were to come up on you, okay, there is also that within myself as well. Like this, where it comes from, like I will fight to protect myself, to defend myself. And I've had to do that, on 4 different occasions. And I won't go into detail because that's in my autobiography, but there's something in me, like I don't cower down.
Mm-mm.
And if I, like you said, you're intuitive, I'm very intuitive. And if something were like, I just have this immediate defense, of protecting myself, whether it's, in immediate danger, which I've not ever been in immediate danger, physical danger. But just in my in relating that to other aspects of my life where I've had to defend and take up for my fucking self, I'm not afraid that wouldn't carry over. And again, and I also wanted to mention, and I say this almost on every episode, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you are right. And that relates to everything in life. And what you were talking about, the law of attraction, whether you believe in the LOA specifically with those words or not, in that entity, that manifestation. But that is true, because your mindset creates your reality. And like you said, you can either be walking down the street, scared to death and nothing happened, or you can walk down filled with joy and having a great time and nothing happened. What do you want? How do you want to experience your life? And that's what, I love about bringing people like yourself on, is like, you're a representation of what you want. You're doing what you're taking action on what you want and how you want your life to be.
Right.
What
And
brings you joy, what lights you up.
when we talked about mental health and those choices, that's my choice, because if I didn't choose to be, half hood and half, happy go lucky, put what somebody say, I like to put sprinkles on shit. Yeah, listen, it's still shit, but at least at least I'm happy about it. I cut a joke about it, so, and, at the end of the day, that's my choice, and that I'm happy.
Absolutely.
And, when you come to me and you're miserable and you don't know why, and you're the one, poo-pooing every idea, and,
Yeah.
then, now you do know why, and hell, if it means putting sprinkles on shit, then I'm putting sprinkles on my whole, whole life.
And again, like the whole thing of what we've been saying is that just because you've chosen up until this point, and the reality is is this doesn't mean that you can't make a completely different choice to create a different next minute. You know,
Mm,
it's 4:38 now, but 4:39 could be something completely different than 4:37, 4:36, and 4:35 were.
nice. Amen.
Yeah. Hey, for a
Amen.
man, girl.
Amen. Dropping mic, we're done.
Oh my God. So, yeah, we had a couple people. So Siobhan was on, and I had a Facebook user. I don't know who that was. They're probably listening from my private Facebook group, DeFi, Rick and Licious, and you. Um, so yeah. So anything else is tell us how just the podcast. Are there other ways that people can work with you? Have you ever thought about like coaching?
I have. I had written it down before I got on. Like, what was I going to say? One of the things that brings me joy is teaching. You know, I can talk about real estate. I love to teach real estate. I love to talk about real estate, especially with other agents and telling them, you know, the business. Because, you know, I did teach, I did coaching with real estate. And remember, I like to help people, you know, all of it put together. Yes. I want a few other podcasts or outlets, another couple platforms. I'm not sure which one. I've been discussing it a couple of times with different people, throwing it out there, whether I want to, you know, do something around real estate or just do something, I don't know. Sometimes I just want just random things to do to help you, you know, help you have a better, easier life. Even if it's
Yeah.
just a DIY, you know, episode on how to, you know, how to whatever, you know, the board behind me, it was kind of strategically placed. It is my board. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
hold on, what is it? This way. Find reasons to
I
feel
love
good.
that.
But everything on that board there is something that brings me joy. I've
Yes.
never had a tattoo. That's a unilome. It means that's your journey. You see that thing
Uh-huh.
right there.
Yes. Yes.
That's your journey, your life journey. You know, so you know, don't you know? Obviously, we know who that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but everything on there brings me some sort of joy, and I, you know, change things out. But you know, maybe coaching about that, about I place things in my life specifically to keep
Yes.
my energy up and my joy up, and I live my life on purpose.
Yes.
I live my joy on purpose. I do slip a lot. I feel a lot. I feel like I slip more than most people do, but I also remember pick myself back up and get back on that horse way more than than a lot of
Yeah.
people. But I specifically trying to place things in my life that bring me joy and others joy, and that means find reasons to feel good. That's the first thing I do in the morning. Is I'm gonna find reasons to feel good today. So,
I love
and
that.
this one's a big one today. You know your thing. You know, and it's a big one.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you just said that like you start your day. You start your day with the intent of creating it. So you
Mhm.
start it with, you know, again, like you said, start it what brings me joy? What lights me up? And living on purpose, living with intention and on purpose. And guys, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Just what do you love? What do you love about yourself? What's awesome about you? Well, a lot of people go, I don't know. I don't know what's awesome about me. There's plenty, you know, and start your day like, golly, yeah. Start in a sense of like Siobhan says, I start the day with gratitude for my bed.
Yeah.
One, even if you can find, you know, I have my summertime, and one of the days was like the checklist. Write 10 things that you're grateful for. Well, I don't know. I'm sure you could think of one, and even if it's one, that one sparks a neural net, a
Right.
chemical pathway that then will lead to you the next day or maybe 3 days later thinking of two things or three things or four things till eventually you're thinking of 100 things, 200 things that are grateful, that are awesome about you, that are phenomenal about your life.
Right. And
And that's,
the same thing backwards. Something thinking about one
yes,
negative thing turns into another. And before you know it, you're down a rabbit hole and you can't get out of it. I mean, you can, but you know, you feel like you can't get out of it because, you know, but it's the same thing. And if you can do it one way, damn sure can do it the other way. So,
thank you. Thank you. When I love that. If you can do it in this direction, you
mhm,
could flip and do it in the opposite
right.
direction. And it's so easy because, you know, you've seen the meme, or I don't know if it's a meme, but whatever. Like, it's easier to pull somebody down than to pull somebody up.
Right.
So it is easier to think of something negative. I think that goes back to, primitive times when we were first coming into existence and we're fight or flight, but we've evolved, so much from that. But it's like, okay, so train yourself. It does take a concerted effort of training your brain, training yourself to do something completely different. So for every negative, because Siobhan and I did a gratitude versus complaint jar challenge a few weeks
Ooh.
ago. For every time you complain, whine, or bitch about something, whether it was somebody cut you off or anything, you have to think of
Mm.
what am I grateful? And even if it was the same damn thing, I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my bed. Oh shit, I'm grateful for my dog. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm grateful for my next door neighbor who watered my plants while I was in New York. There's, and then you just build upon it. And then I'm telling you, there have been times, again, and I suffer depression and anxiety just like anybody else. And it's not a good place to be. I don't want to be there, but I do see the gift of being there and able to process and be like, okay, what is this telling me? What is it I'm needing to understand or know? Because there's something going on that's creating the thoughts that are creating the feelings. And it's like, okay, I'll make that effort to go, okay, what am I grateful for? And I'll just start thinking. But it's not just about thinking in a list. It's about the emotions generated when you really feel those things that you're grateful for, or that are awesome about you, that then start to, again, those chemicals are starting to lift, and then you're in, that much better place. And then all of a sudden you're there and you forgot about how angry or upset or depressed or sad or whatever you were.
Right, right. And you hit on it, that you can say that you're grateful. You can say thank you, but unless
Oh,
you
yeah.
feel thankful, truly appear, or you
Right,
feel grateful, if you can say I'm grateful for, my dog, but if you don't feel it,
right.
and you're just saying it, it's just, it is, listen, but if you have to fake it to make it, then just say it.
Yes, exactly. At least do it. At
Just do
least.
it. But,
Because then when you go back, let's say let you write these things, but then let's say at a later date, because I was reading reading through a journal 2 days ago when I was writing for the week, and I went back to last week, and I'm like, oh wow, I was saying that this had me a little bit of angst, but I was putting out that wasn't that everything was going to be just fine, and sure as shit, it was. When I look back and looked at what I wrote that I was a little concerned about, and sure as shit, it didn't even come to fruition. What I was
Right.
anxious about didn't even come to fruition.
It's like magic, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
Whew. Well, girl, we're at an hour and 16 minutes, even though we've had a couple little flourishes. That
Yeah.
was hilarious, girl. It's funny, when you got dropped out, I was going, fuck.
I was just trying to show everybody that you were a little hood.
Yeah, exactly. You damn right
Right.
I am. Yeah,
But
yeah.
you already know.
So I don't know. I don't know what happened on the Facebook, but it said that the wireless. But I mean, I'm hardwired in, so it definitely wasn't internet.
Yeah.
But Ashley, it has been so amazing having you on today. This has been an empowered conversation faux show.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so excited. Thank you, Steve Eames. Again, we're going to shout out to him. I've learned a lot from him, the go-giver.
Yes,
The stuff that
yes.
he talks about, and just in general, he's such a great pay it forward type of guy. So him connecting me with anybody is powerful in itself. And so
Hmm.
I really appreciate it. But no, I mean, when I talked to you the very first time and introduced myself and said, hey, I've got a podcast, would you like to be on mine, but vice versa. I was so empowered by the first 2 seconds of talking to you. And I don't know if you remember this, but I said, oh my gosh, I see us doing other stuff together in the future.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Steve, I met him. I don't even remember how I met him, but we've known each other for several years. And he is that person who wants to connect, and I've been trying to get him on my podcast, and our schedules just haven't worked out. But I was just so delighted when he said, you've got to meet, oh my God. And then you and I were connected, and I was like, holy shit, lifelong friend. lifelong friend.
Yeah.
Because what's funny is, or not funny, but ironic, because again, um, I'm always in that process of wanting to manifest. And over the past year and a half, I was literally asking, I
Mm.
want to bring into my life people who resonate with my core values, who are lit up by life, and who are living with purpose. And holy damn hell, if that hasn't fallen into place, even though, like, I just met Clemenza in person
Yeah.
last week. We had never met in person. We were introduced through my friend Mike Hartman. And now you and I, we haven't met, but we're about to meet on Friday.
Yeah.
Siobhan and I have never met. But I mean, there's so many people that I've become connected with through another beautiful thing through the pandemic is virtual and online through these groups is meeting so many incredible, phenomenal, outstanding people that are going to be lifelong friends. And then, I know we got to hang out. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm ready to come to Charleston.
Nice.
I love Charleston.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
where did you eat? You mentioned your favorite restaurant earlier. You said you ate at your favorite restaurant.
shameless plug. Wild Olive. It's in Johns Island. It's an
Ooh,
Italian restaurant. Yeah.
Wild Olive. When I come to visit you, we're gonna have to go there. Oh my
I'm
God.
I'm there. I'm totally there.
Have you ever eaten at oh God, it's a taco place over in West Ashley. It's ooh, what is it called?
We have like 14 West Ashley.
Oh, it
Um,
is. Why am I drawing a blank? It's like they're
Taco
they're like
Mex One or Taco Spot or um
they have
um
oh Tyler, if you're on, he said he was going to try to be on and watch today. He knows. We always go there. Well, we didn't go this past time when we were there, but
El Molino. No, that's a
no, it's
store, but they have the best taco.
Voodoo Lounge.
Oh, so Voodoo Lounge after all these years has changed into a different same atmosphere, but they still have the same tacos, the duck tacos.
Okay.
You're talking about the duck tacos, duck fat, maybe.
All I know, we haven't been there in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Because we weren't there for a year, and I think it was like 2 years before that, since we've been in Charleston, and we were there for my birthday this past March, and it was undamn freaking real. But yeah, the Voodoo Lounge over there. Yeah,
Yep.
so I guess you're saying that they're.
I live about a block from there.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Holy freaking cow, girl!
Yeah. So it's Caroline's now. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a bartender that was there for many, many years, and she passed away, and so they turned it into Caroline. So
Was that her name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Carolina is Luau Bar, but it's the same. That they cleaned it up a little bit, practically the same menu. But they still have the same tacos. So there's that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah. I live really close.
That is so cool. Yeah, we're walking distance.
Yeah. So.
Well, you can count on I'm coming to visit you in Charleston. You can count on that.
Amen.
Hell to the yeah.
Obviously, we're going to do some good eating.
Some good eating and some fun and some little bit drinking.
Yeah, and maybe we'll just have to go downtown and walk in the street, walk down the street and wait for, just dare somebody to come.
Dare somebody to come in. Ah! What if my antennas are for joy?
Right.
Ah!
Oh my God. Oh. So.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. This was an empowered conversation. So much fun. Joining us tomorrow. I'm like drawing a fart blank here. Tomorrow for food therapy, we've got a guest, mine and Siobhan's business coach, Natalie. Natalie is going to be on with us. We're making a couple phenomenal fresh spring or summertime salads, and those are going to be good with watermelon and goat cheese and arugula. Oh my God, all my favorite things. And that's tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, and I think that's all the announcements I have.
Great.
So yeah, and yeah, so I've got a link to your podcast as well.
Okay.
Yes, it's in all the show notes and stuff. Edna says, "Yum." Yes. Hey, Edna, thank you for joining. Ashley, it's been such a phenomenal pleasure having you on. And you stay right here. I'm just going to end the broadcast. Bye, everybody.